Mark, a pessimist sees a dark tunnel. An optimist sees the light at the end of the tunnel. A realist sees a freight train coming. The train driver sees three dickheads stood on the tracks.
That is your wheelhouse.
Before I forget.
I'll kill you if this is a joke.
You want to die tonight?
The You Run Podcast.
The You Run Podcast.
The You Run Podcast.
The You Run Podcast.
Why isn't it possible?
I can't say nothing. A Candyman will get me.
You choose the movies.
I had a hard-on this morning when I woke up, Tina. Had your name written all over it.
You score them.
Nice fucking model!
You review them.
For that you get the head, tail, the whole damn thing.
Why not, you stupid bastard?
My name is very fucking confused. What's your name?
Captain Howdy.
You don't want to go fooling around other folks' property.
And my goddamn soul. Where's the beer?
Because after all, this is not our show. This is your show.
Do you know how nice it is to get a real laugh and not a pity laugh this week?
Yeah, you deserve that one, mate. That was impressive.
Yeah,
now you know your trajectory and where you need to go going forward.
So what you're saying is actually to make funny jokes.
Yeah, like almost try. Trying would be nice.
Okay, that's fine. Hello and welcome to Horror Movie Review, part of the You Run Podcast Network. My name is Scott.
My name is Mark.
We are a horror review show run and controlled by all of you. That's right, folks. You run the show. You pick the movies, you score them, you offer your opinions. You do all of this by simply following us on one of our social medias. That's at You Run Podcast on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, /app, YouTube, and X. There's so many. And also now we're posting actual posts on YouTube, not just video content. So there's posts on YouTube. There's reels, there's YouTube's getting lots of stuff at the moment.
You say we like I'm involved in this operation, mate. You're a machine when it comes to doing all this stuff. I can't even keep up with Instagram.
This show is also now on YouTube every single week on Monday, dropping exactly the same time as it does on podcasts everywhere. So if you're watching us, hello, and make sure you hit like and subscribe. Thanks.
Hello, and maybe we should give some context because we're recording this off the back of our
Dark Harvest.
Dark Harvest episode.
Harvest.
So we're drunk.
Yeah, we're
drunk. Wearing the same clothes. So that if you're watching on YouTube, we have washed and stuff within the last 3 weeks and do have a change of outfit.
This is true.
It's just the same night.
If you want to follow Mark, you can do that. He's at MW_horror_reviews on Instagram and Slasher, and at MW_horror_VHS on Instagram and TikTok. You can send us an email, yourunpodcast@gmail.com, or record us a voicemail wherever the world will allow you to do that. So lots of social media apps, just click and hold the mic button and record what you want to say. If you like the show, you can leave us a review. If you watch it on YouTube, just like, share, comment, really easy. If you've never listened before, we share listener scores, critic scores before giving you a brief synopsis of the movie. We then dive into spoilers, our thoughts about what we've watched. We have a fab episode planned today. It's all about trains and more trains. But before we talk,
train spotting.
Yeah, but before we talk about trains, go on then. You can hit us off with news.
Oh, I'm very honoured, sir. Thank you very much. I'm going to start off more with news-based questions. So My first bit of news is more intrigue than it is news itself. Although it is news, I just have no idea what they're talking about. Whereas I know you, being a seasoned Stephen King fan, will probably have more enlightenment on this than I will. Mike Flanagan, who you all know from Gerald's Game and Doctor Sleep and the TV series that he's tied into with Netflix, which I haven't watched any of, by the way.
What's that? I can't remember what it's called.
House of Usher,
House of Usher,
House on Bly Manor, and all that.
I've watched House on Haunted Hill. I've watched the other one, Blythe Manor. I've not watched House of Usher. It's on my list.
They all seem to be really, really good, but I haven't watched any of them.
Mike
I only
Flanagan,
know him from Hush, which is fucking
Mike
amazing.
Flanagan is so good.
Yeah,
so, the guy is just a genius.
Love Dr. Sleep, don't you?
Oh man, Mike Flanagan, for what he done with Dr. Sleep, will always sit in my top 5 directors of all time. He's amazing.
Yeah, well, this might excite you then. So Mike Flanagan, who I know from Hush, which is an amazing slasher. If you haven't seen it, go back and check it from his earlier work. He's set to direct a new Stephen King adaptation called The Life of Chuck. I know nothing about this movie or the book or any of the source material about it, but the exciting thing about it is that we've had cast announcements already. One guy who is set to play the lead, I cannot pronounce his name, and I'm not going to attempt to because it will just sound dreadful. So apologies to you who you are, but if you Google this statement, you will find it. Other actors and actresses involved are Karen Gilligan from Guardians of the Galaxy fame, Jacob Tremblay, Tom Hiddleston, Mark Hamill, and more recently, which has just come out on Twitter, is your favourite, Matthew Lillard, is set to star in it, along with Heather Langenkamp.
Casting's amazing. Story, not so much. This is from
that's disappointing.
A story of short stories that he'd done. So it was from If It Bleeds, which was, I think, 10 or 15 short stories. I've got a real issue with them adapting Stephen King's short stories. They're a short for a reason because there's not much fucking context in it.
You say that, mate, but look at Candyman.
Yeah, true. Stephen King, whenever Stephen King wrote short stories, they were always, he says this himself, he wrote short stories to give him inspiration to write bigger stories. And if you look at a lot of his short stories, you can then match them to full novels that he wrote later in life. And this is one that he didn't pick up and make a full novel of later.
But the thing is, though, if Mike Flanagan's involved, somebody who's a big, passionate Stephen King fan and who knows his sort of sense of ideas, maybe he's the perfect person to expand upon it and maybe not only then have such a strict narrative on what he can do, he can maybe add his own interjections into it and where he wants to take it. So this might be a beneficial thing that it's a short story rather than a fully fleshed out novel.
100% it'll work. And the casting, the casting director on this needs a pat on the back and someone buy him a beer. Instantly, how he put that cast together. Even take Matthew. Everyone knows I'm a huge Matthew Lillard fan. Take Matthew Lillard out of that. Casting outside of Matthew Lillard, phenomenal.
Yeah, Tom Hiddleston, amazing. Karen Gilligan, amazing. I'm not too familiar with Jacob Tremblay or the guy who I can't pronounce his name, but Mark Hamill. Getting Mark Hamill to do an on-screen appearance other than a voiceover these days must mean that he really likes the source material or is a Mike Flanagan fan.
Yeah, getting Mark Hamill involved if you're not George Lucas or not making a cartoon is almost impossible.
Yeah, or Jay and Silent Bob.
This is very true. Who wouldn't want to be in a Jay and Silent? I'd love to do a cameo in Jay and Silent Bob.
Who did he play in that Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back movie? When he came out, he was like Captain Bong or something like that. And he had like Bong lightsabers. Man, that was wild.
That's such a cool movie.
Wild. Anyway, that's my bit. No, before we do move on from it, though, can you give me a little bit of context on what The Life of Chuck actually is?
No, because it's been 10 years since I've read it. I can't even remember what it's about. It's
I
literally
should have come
like
more prepared then. I just assumed you would have known what it was.
No, it's like a 4-page, 5-page short story in a book that's, I don't know, about as thin as it's about that thick. Everyone on YouTube, about an inch. And it's got about 20...
I have all the Clive Barker books of Blood, which is what the Candyman story comes from. They're wafer thin as well. Each one of those is about 10 pages long.
Yeah, and it was in a bigger book, and I'll be honest, I don't remember it.
No.
I probably own it. I'll go and give it a read, and I'll let you know. I'll update you.
Well, go and Google it. Let us all know whether you're excited for The Life of Chuck, for those of you who do know what it is about.
People must think that we correlate our news, and we really don't, because my news also contains Mike Flanagan.
No, we definitely don't, which is why I'm always eager to go first in case you've stolen what I did. Because I only come prepared with 2 bits of news. I don't have a backup in case you've taken mine.
No,
we haven't got to that point yet.
So The Exorcist Believer, including the money they paid for the rights, has not broken even yet. And there is lots of talk as to whether Gordon Green may be getting the boot.
Well, he made a statement saying that he was busy. And that was before The Exorcist even came out. which was a big speculation of the fact that he knew it was going to bomb.
Yeah, and
but it's done all right though. It's done all right, has it not?
It's well over 100 million, but they needed to make 250 plus to break even, including what they paid for the rights. So they need to, if they let's say they stop at 150 million, they need to make 400 million plus on the next two movies to make money, like any money.
Yeah, so we are recording this in advance, but Halloween week has just gone a couple of weeks ago. We're recording this just before Halloween weekend.
Yeah.
I think you might see a big spike in it.
Yeah, it's possible. There are two people who are tipped to be taking his place, rumoured, in fact, to have both had conversations with the studio. One is Mike Flanagan, which I am super excited. Mike Flanagan taking on an Exorcist movie?
Nope.
All over that. The other one is Ty West.
Nope, don't want either of them. Don't want either of them. They're both great, absolutely fantastic directors, but they're off on the wrong foot already, which is not good for them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Both of them are well-respected directors within the horror community.
Yeah.
But neither of them have done something as big as the Exorcist franchise. Ty West, fantastic director. No, because don't get me wrong, X and Pell, phenomenal in their own rights and have a massive audience.
Mike Flanagan, Doctor Sleep, arguably one of the biggest sequels ever made.
Yeah, but
and he fucking nailed it. Oh,
to Stephen King fans, he did.
Yeah, true.
And it's known as one of the greatest sequels in horror to Stephen King fans.
Yeah.
But not many people know the context of that film. And not many people went to see it based on the fact that they don't know the context of that movie.
No, not many people went to see it because it came out the week that fucking COVID went worldwide and every fucker got locked in their house.
I haven't seen it personally, but I've heard it's amazing. However, I just think these two directors are strong enough in their own right. Give them the first one. Fuck Gordon Green off before he took on Believer. And if someone said to me, Mike Flanagan's directing a Exorcist
trilogy
legacy sequel that's picking up off the events of the original, boom, yeah, perfect. Yeah. Eating that up. Championing him all the way. Same with Ty West. But the fact that they're going to have to clean up Gordon Green's mess, which people are already sour about.
Yeah.
So the people who don't necessarily follow die-hard facts about movies like we do and live and breathe this kind of gossip, like we eat this stuff up like the Kardashians, so we would know that they'd taken over it. But normal general movie-going folk would not be like, oh, Mike Flanagan's taking this over. They'd just be like, oh, it's a sequel to that dog shit film. They don't know who's directing it. They don't know the news that he's taken over. And then it'll bomb again. And then that just damages their career. So I think stay away from it, guys. You could do better.
Yeah, I kind of agree. Give it to an unknown. Give it to an unknown director.
Yeah, let somebody have a rise to fame and be like, this guy came in and fucking swooped in on his white horse and saved the franchise.
Give it to Damien Leone. That would fucking shake the Exorcist world to the core.
I'm sure I read something on social media today that he was like crying out to do a Friday the 13th movie. He was like, give me Friday the 13th.
He's openly said, I want Friday the 13th after Terrifier 3.
That would be cool. I'd give him it.
Yeah, I would with that. If I owned the rights to Friday the 13th, the movie side of it, without hesitation, I'd go, there you go.
I think he would need slight reins on him a little bit.
Yeah.
He would need, and I'm not one for like championing studio interference. I don't think it should be encouraged, but possibly with Damien Leone, it maybe is necessary.
You mean when we get into the third act and Art the Clown turns up and cuts Voorhees' head off?
Yeah, just anything insane along those lines. It doesn't work for me. But yeah, no, I mean, yeah, give him it. Oh, is it me now?
Yes, you now.
All right, okay. So my second bit of news, which is, I'm not sure if you've already covered this or not. I think this is fairly new, so you don't think you've touched the point yet. Halloween season, obviously, as we know, it's all coming and going at the moment. In which point the Trick or Treat 2 news starts coming out of the woodwork.
Yes. Yeah, he had a YouTube video on it a couple of weeks ago.
I'm not sure if you covered this bit of news, so I'll dive into it and see where we are. If you have, then forget everything I've just said over the next couple of minutes. So the sequel is in active development with Legendary Pictures, as director Doherty had confirmed once again, which he had said last Halloween. He continues to go on and Halloween before. He continues to go on and say, I'll go as far as to say that we have several drafts of a script. I have brought back the same storyboard artist as mentioned before, Simon Wilkins. So we have We have a stack of storyboards and a good fat stack of concept art done by Brian Burns, as well as So he's basically saying that it's inching along and that we have the same cast back and everything else.
Yeah.
What he's gone on to say, though, is I'm hoping to talk to Legendary. They've been a wonderful and great collaborators, but so much of it is about timing. And obviously, with it being Halloween-based movie, you can imagine it is timing.
Yeah.
Got to come out on Halloween.
Yeah.
So you don't want it shelved either after spending all that time and effort doing it and then bringing it out in the summer. So, but he has said, and this is the first time he said this, is we have a really, really great script for the sequel, and I brought in my co-writer from Krampus to do it with me. So Zach Shields and Todd Casey are co-writers for Trick or Treat Part 2, as it will be called. And this has come out of the director's mouth. Factually, he has said, the script is there, we are ready. It is a very solid script, and he's also informed us that it's not just in his own imagination. He's actually brought in writers to help him write it, and they're involved as well. But that worries me a little bit because Krampus is fucking shite.
I'm excited for this. In reality, I think this is a 2025 movie with the actor strike. Yeah, with the actor strike still going on now. If they wanted to get this out for October next year, you're looking at starting shooting in January, February. If the actor strike carries on till December, that's not going to happen. If they shoot in April, May, there's no way they'll get it shot, edited and ready and market it ready for October. I think 2025.
Where we are now today, recording this episode, wasn't there a meeting today regarding whether this was going to continue or not? Or was that yesterday?
That was yesterday, I think.
And we're still on strike, so I'm assuming it all didn't go well.
No, it still didn't go well. So if the actor strike has ended when you're listening or watching this, then maybe it will happen next year. But I think 2025, I think, is a safe bet. It's going to happen, and I think it needs to happen. And I think they need to bring back some of the characters. So, like the werewolf story, you could easily rehash a different version of that in there and keep the same cast. Move it forward
I don't
in
want
time.
The same cast.
Bring not all the same cast, but some of them. I'd like some of them. Sam needs to stay, obviously.
Do you know what would work well for me is to have them is like background characters kind of thing. So like have the concept of Trick or Treat, but have it as a place, like what Stephen King does with Maine. So have the location be the place. And Sam just not, instead of him going all over the country and all around the world, it's just in this one little sort of secluded suburban town. Yeah, and this is a few years later, and then you'll maybe see background characters who you saw in the first film.
Who aren't doing anything, just milling about.
But like maybe like playing out, so it all ties in together the same night. So you could see like the lady and her husband from the first film setting up their Halloween decorations, but then go into a different story, and they're just background action.
Yeah,
that would be cool.
See, the idea that I had that I kind of pitched when I done my little solo YouTube was I would like to see Halloween under threat. So Sam is the guardian of Halloween. I would like to see Halloween as a holiday under threat, and basically Sam roping in lots of other mythical creatures and having lots of little side plots, all orchestrated by Sam, where he's making people believe in Halloween again.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Where it's you see Sam like pointing with his little lollipop stick at like a couple of people who don't look like they're anything, and then it goes off into their story, and they go and scare the shit out of loads of people in a house, and then like you'll see Sam walking down a road and like signal to like a little kid who turns into like a goblin and have another little side plot, but all orchestrated by him. I'd love that.
Oh, I don't know. Actually, that sounds a little bit too fanciful for my liking. I'd like it just to be as basic as the first, but just cleverly enough written that it ties it all together and have all those nods. And because we like the first for what it is, so don't change it. Just give us more of what we've been waiting for the past 8 years or however long it's been since we had Trick or Treat.
Back in my day, we had Trick or Treat.
Yeah, it's getting to the point now where it is going to become a legacy sequel.
Yeah. Speaking of movies that need better writers, Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2. We've spoken about this before, but the director has made some bold claims that I'm going to make a thing about saying now. So when we eventually review this, we're going to come back to this and see if he lives up to his bold claims. Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey 2 will contain at least 30 unique kills. That's a lot.
Just trying to think. You say that that's a lot, but what was it? I was listening to Revenge, Return, Resurrection, one of the podcasts that I'm super into at the minute, and they've just done Freddy versus Jason. Freddy versus Jason had 26 kills in it. I don't remember there being that many kills in Freddy versus Jason.
Yeah, Jason massacres about 20 people at the barn dance where they set him on fire.
He does. Yes, You're right. Yeah. Okay.
But,
so maybe. Yeah, but if you're just going to do it in a throwaway scene like that, that's not the same, is it?
No. You've promised 30 unique kills. I want 30 unique kill scenes that take
So
an
if
hour.
that's a 90-minute movie, that's a kill every 3 minutes.
Yeah. That's a perfect movie for us to review because we're just going to go from kill scene to kill scene. I'm all over that.
I mean, to be honest with you, I know we slightly bashed on Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, but we also saw the shining elements that were there within that film. We were probably the easiest on it out of everybody, I think.
I enjoyed it. I was surprised how much I enjoyed it. It was good fun. Yeah,
I think we dissected it fairly enough and came away from it feeling equally as fulfilled by it as what it provided, as what the actual film itself was. Whereas everybody went into this kind of being like, this is dog shit, this is this. And then they just had the expectations of it, and that's what it delivered on. But whereas I think we ranked that fairly, and I give it a 2 or a 2.5, which is middle of the road, which is what I give Dark Harvest a couple of weeks ago. And that's a substantially better film. But I'm excited for Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey.
I am. I'm kind of a little bit ashamed how excited I am for it as well.
I am as well. It's not something I like to divulge too much, but I am really excited about it. And I think with all the films we've probably got coming out next year, that's quite high up my list.
Yeah, and for me. This week we are looking at separated couples, the challenges of travelling with children, the inner workings of the rail network, and the hardest man on the planet. It is our pleasure to share with you our spoken review of the movie that I got to read this week. Choo Choo Thomas. It's Train to Busan.
Choo Choo Thomas.
So this is the part where you'd normally get a trailer. However, this movie is not in English, so the trailer doesn't work very well on a podcast platform. If you're watching on YouTube, however, you have just watched the trailer. The listeners have scored this a 9 out of 10. IMDb rocks in at 7.6 out of 10 and Letterboxd a 4 out of 5. One of the highest scoring movies we've had on the show.
Ooh, rightly so though. I love this film. Spoilers.
Yeah, it's not a bad movie. It's genuinely not. I have thoughts, but we'll save them.
I will take you down.
A bit of synopsis to this if you've never seen it before. The daughter of a businessman is desperate to visit her mother because they've separated. After some real emotional blackmail and guilt tripping, the dad agrees to take her on a train trip to Busan to make his daughter happy. If only he'd known a zombie apocalypse was going to happen that day. You need nothing else. That's what this movie is. This show is spoiler heavy. If you've not seen Train to Busan before, it may be spoiled for you. If you've seen another zombie movie, you might be all right.
Oh, dude, don't be this guy tonight. Come on, please don't be this guy tonight.
Just to be clear, we are spoiler heavy. Heather, tell them how spoiler heavy we are.
You can read the fucking episode title and be like, I've never seen this. Don't fucking listen to it then. If y'all haven't seen it, that's not anybody's problem. Don't listen to the damn episode yet.
It still makes me smile every week. We don't cover a lot of zombie movies on this show. I don't put a huge amount of zombie movies in the polls. And when I do occasionally put one in there, they tend not to win. They're not really my thing. And I am 100% that guy that says if you've seen one zombie movie, you've seen all the zombie movies. But I am willing to see if Train to Busan changes my mind.
See, I am the zombie guy. Yeah. I am that guy, but not top of the list zombie guy, but like slasher, obviously, as you all know, is my top tier graded subgenre to go to. But then it's zombie, but not because I love it that much, but just because it's just mindless, man. It's just mindless horror fun. And yeah, you're right. Maybe in a certain sense, they are necessarily the same. Zombie outbreak, survive. There's not really too much to it, but you get them. You get the occasional few out there where they do interject something different.
Yeah,
and this one does. This is one of those.
I will still die on the hill that Shaun of the Dead is the best zombie movie ever. I may change my mind come the end of this, but at the moment, Shaun of the Dead still by far the best.
It's so weird, because every time we speak about Shaun of the Dead, I never really categorize it as a zombie movie. It's weird. It is a zombie movie.
How on earth do you not? What category do you put that in?
I don't know, because it's just so uniquely Edgar Wright. And as somebody who is such a big fan of Spaced, his original TV series I did with Nick Frost and Simon Pegg, like, I love that show unconditionally. I watch it on loop. It's like my sort of boredom TV show to just bang on in the background. My favorite episode. Have you seen the episode where where he's playing Resident Evil? And then they'd have like that zombie shootout, and he's like, and they all start coming in on him in the house as he's like falling asleep playing the game.
Yeah,
he thinks he's actually in the game.
Wasn't that the actual inspiration for Shaun of the
Dead?
That
was the inspiration for it. Yeah, and honestly, like, I just love that sort of. That is the epitome of British humour.
Yeah,
if someone ever said to me, "What is British humour?" I would say, "Watch Shaun of the Dead."
Yeah, watch Shaun of the Dead or watch reruns of Only Fools and Horses, and that's it.
Yeah, that stuff hasn't aged well, though, man.
It's
I bang
so
on every
badly.
now and again on like Gold. It's like Gold's one of those. You turn your telly on, and Gold is like a retro TV channel. And Only Fools and Horses come on and stuff, and they'll say some things in that, and they still air it now on like daytime TV. I'm like, wow, that is not okay to say that.
No, it's really not. Let's get into this movie. Let's start with a zombie deer. This is arguably the best opening to any zombie movie I've ever seen.
Yes.
They're outside some sort of base. There's a deer in the road. The deer gets run over. The way this deer reconstructs its body and like all of its limbs snap back into place and it stands up, and then you see it like, deers do that, like kind of chew the cud thing.
Yeah.
It does that, and then it pans from its mouth up to its eyes, and its eyes are like a glazed over white. So good. Instantly, I know exactly what I'm getting. I'm in.
And again, like the opening exposition to this movie, it sets the scene perfectly, because this guy who is a farmer comes trudging through. He comes to a barricade. Is this Korean or is this Japanese?
Korean.
I think it's South Korean, isn't it?
Yeah.
South Korean.
It's definitely not North Korean.
No, and I don't know why I asked that, because it has no context to what I'm saying. I was just curious, and it came to my mind at the moment.
If it was North Korean, Kim Jong-un would be the lead actor. And it would only be shown in North Korea.
No, the reason why I asked that is because there is some sort of Asian culture where you can't have like zombies or ghosts in your movies.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I think it's Japanese. I think in Japan you can't have any sort of supernatural elements in your movie. So there's like a lot of horror films that can't be showcased in Japan, which affects a massive audience in terms of box office, because they're a big country and they see a lot of movies, which is why when you see some Japanese horror films, 9 times out of 10, if it's supernatural based, the only way they can pass it off is by the time they get to the end, the twist reveal is like it's all in its head and it never all even happened. So they do that quite a lot in a lot of Japanese horror films, because that's the only way they can get it through the, I don't know what they call them for the broadcasting thing over there, the ones that do the ratings and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway, that's why I asked, because I was like, surely this can't be Japanese, or whichever one I thought it was at the time. So it must be Japanese is what I'm thinking of. Anyway, back to what I was saying about the opening exposition. So you get this farmer coming down the road, and he's stopped by a sort of quarantine segment. And they're like, oh, what the fuck are you doing again? Like, if you start killing my sheep and my pigs, I'm not going to be very happy. I've literally just built my farm back up again. And he's like, no, this is just routine. Don't worry. There's nothing sinister going on. Your cattle is fine. We're not going to touch it. Which makes us know that previous things have happened in the past, which they've managed to contain by maybe killing livestock and stuff like that. They've managed to contain it and not let it break through. But this time he then goes on his way through the quarantine section. He hits a deer on the road, which you've just explained, and kills the deer. He drives off thinking, shit, my van's totaled. I'm having the worst day ever.
I'm having such a bad day.
Such a bad day.
Unbeknownst to the fact he's just unleashed a zombie outbreak on the world.
Yeah, but I have to already assume that this was zombie the year before. Yeah. And he goes off on his way, but then the deer just, as you said, just sort of like contorts itself back together.
It's so cool. And the zombies in this movie are amazing because they just do not die. That's what makes this so good. They just don't stop.
Right. What's your favourite zombie?
What, ever or in this movie?
Like ever. Like, if you were to watch a zombie movie, where do you go? Do you have George Romero, slow-paced, shambling zombies? Do you have 28 Days Later, Super Rage zombies?
28 weeks later.
Yeah, which is 28 days later, the same zombies.
28 weeks I still think is better than 28 days. But hey.
There's an argument to be had whether they're actually zombies or not, though.
Yeah, zombies, fast-moving, scary zombies are better than drag your ass. I can go and have like 8 pints and a meal, come out and you've still not caught me. They don't bother me at all.
No.
I like the zombies in this are great. They're genuinely terrifying, and the lengths that they go to put these fucking things down and they do not stop, I think is fabulous. That adds a new element to it. I've never seen a zombie movie where a zombie's had so much damage inflicted on it like this. They just get up like nothing's happened.
Have you seen World War Z?
Yeah, World War Z.
Tsunami of zombies.
But World War Z is fucking dreadful.
And the thing is, again, the book is brilliant.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, the book is really good.
Anyway, we meet the dad. I'm not going to make any attempt to pronounce any names in this. So this is the dad.
Nope.
The dad is some sort of trader. He's a stock trader of some description. He's not a nice guy. And he's busy at work, and he gets a phone call to go, oh, don't forget. His mum rings him and says, don't forget it's your daughter's birthday. He's like, I know it's my daughter's birthday. And he's quite grumpy. And then he turns around to his assistant. He's like, what do you get a little girl for her birthday? And this is fabulous because he goes home and he comes in and his daughter's a bit sad and she's sat on the bed and he's like, oh, what's wrong? She's like, I want to go and see mum. He's like, oh, well, I know it's your birthday tomorrow, but I've bought you a gift. And she opens it and it's a Wii U. And she looks so fucking broken. And he's so confused, like, what's the matter? And she looks up and the camera pans where she's looking, and on her shelf is a Wii U that his assistant obviously bought her last time.
Yeah. And she even says, you got me. And they say, I think they call it a life day. Do they not?
Yeah. I think it's Life Day or Child's Day. I'm going to say something now. He was a bad dude. He's a bad dude. He's not a nice guy. His assistant done him dirty and laughed all the way home. His assistant.
Do you genuinely think he's a bad guy?
Yeah, 100% he's a bad guy.
Oh, man, I didn't get that at all. I mean, maybe that shows what kind of person I am.
He's got no.
I felt for this guy. Because, like, you could tell he was getting it from the higher power in terms of when they have the conversations, like we need to liquidate everything, sell all the stocks, sell all of our shares. Everything needs to go because they pre-anticipate what's coming. I don't know. Do they pre-anticipate? It's hard to digest what actually happens in this.
It's because you have to read it.
No, I don't. That never bothers me, man.
It's a subtitled movie. It bothers me every time.
Does it really?
Yeah, I'd rather a dubbed movie.
No, man, fucking hell. Some of the dubbed films I've seen in the past, I would definitely rather have a subtitled movie. Honestly,
I would take this with the worst dubbing ever over subtitles. I hate subtitles. But
yeah, I get where you're coming from. It used to really bother me, and I'd never used to watch a lot of films based on the fact that if I had to read the subtitles, but I don't know. It's just kind of the norm to me. What things I find weird is when people have subtitles on.
I do that.
When they're in English.
See, I do that.
Why? How can you complain about this then when you do that when you're watching a casual episode of Friends, which you probably know all the words to anyway?
I don't know. Anyway, he buys a Wii U and she's deflated, and he's instantly, you can see he instantly goes, oh, fuck. But I'm sure that was his assistant doing him over. The assistant bought the gift last time. And the dad went, oh, what do I buy my daughter? And the assistant went, I know, get her a Wii U. And then laughed all the way home and got home to his wife and went, do you know what? You know, my boss, the one who's a real arsehole, makes me work late. I've stitched him right up. That's what I think happened. And I took immense joy from that moment.
That's so weird that you feel the way you do towards this guy, because I had immediate empathy for him.
Even at the end, at no point in this movie do I have any sympathy for this guy whatsoever.
I love him. I think he's great.
No, my hero's coming soon.
Oh, yes. He's my hero with heroes. But
he's everyone's hero. He is a superhero, but we'll talk about that later. We meet the guy's mum, dad's mum. She's really nice, and she's like, she's trying to say to him, look, you need to spend more time with your daughter. And he's like, I'm doing really important things at work. And she follows that with, well, your daughter's doing really important things. It's an important time for her too. And then she puts on the recital where his daughter's singing. And because the dad's not there, she stumbles and fucks up her words. And then the teacher goes.
Yeah, because she's looking for him in the audience.
Yeah. And the teacher, she's sort of looking around for him, and then she loses where she is. And the teacher kind of pats her on the back and goes, well, at least you tried. Go and sit down. You can see she's broken. And the dad, I'll give the dad a bit of due. I don't know what caused them to break up. Probably the fact he was an arsehole.
He's just working all the time. He's a provider. He's providing for his family, and I can understand how that can be submersible and you can lose yourself in that.
Yeah, I get it.
You see it from a point where he's like neglecting his kid, but he's doing all this for his kid. He's doing all this so she has a life, and I'm a dad. And I work hard, and I understand the conflict.
So do I. Juggling full-time work and a family, and making sure you give enough attention to your kids while still keeping money coming in, is a tough thing. Yeah. It genuinely is.
I mean, don't get me wrong. This guy has no balance, well above him on his needs.
Yeah,
he doesn't need to work the hours he does.
No, and he has no balance at all. Like work is his thing.
His work-life balance is completely off kilt, and that's why his wife's left him. But what I don't understand is his wife's left him, but she didn't take the kid. If my wife left me, I would be in no chance in hell she would let me keep my daughter.
No, I think that's a cultural thing, maybe. I'm not 100% sure, but I think that is a cultural thing.
Let us know. Call in if you are South Korean.
Yeah, or North Korean. That would be really impressive to get a call from North Korea. Hello, my name is Mr. Kim Jong-un.
You're borderlining again, man.
I know. He agrees to take his daughter on the trip to see the mum, and he's like, look, I'll take you to see your mum, and she's overjoyed. This is like the best thing that's ever happened to her. They go to the train station, and they get on the train, and this setup is so subtle and so good. So they get on the train, they sit down. The dad's fucking around on his phone. He's taking calls from work. And the little girl's staring out the window, as kids do when they get on public transport. And you've got the train conductor who's like telling people, like, right, close the doors. And the train conductor turns around and gets fully taken out by a zombie as the train pulls out of the station. The little girl turns to tell her dad. Her dad's like, in full conversation. No, I don't care what they're saying. Keep hold of those stocks. Don't do anything. And she sort of goes, oh, well, never mind.
Yeah, but before they just set off, as the doors are closing, one of them gets in. A young woman stumbles in through the doors.
Yeah, who's got a cut leg, and she's pretty beaten up.
And you think she's hidden in the toilets, and the next scene unfolds where the train sets off, and someone's waiting to use the restroom, and they're like, we need to get into the toilet. Like, someone's been in there for ages, and they shouldn't be in there. Someone sinister has come on the train. I'm assuming this is like a first-class train. It seems like a upper class train level. It's not like the usual ones where you see on social media where there's 50 people crammed against the door. They all have their own individual seats and all the rest of it. So the train guard comes down to inspect. He's tapping on the door, and you think it's going to be the zombie girl inside the toilet, and they open the door and it's a homeless man.
Yeah, and then they cut to the girl who's on the floor, and there's a lady conductor who comes in, and she's like, oh my God, are you okay? And she gets down to help her, and this girl starts having a fit. And she's like, oh, no.
Yeah.
And she like tries to lift her up. And as she tries to lift her up, this girl rips half her face off.
Yeah, I feel like you're undercutting a lot of the tension here, man. I'm going to have to kind of pull you back a little bit because you're just blitzing through this like it's not important. Like the setup to the breaking into the toilet and finding the homeless man is like so tense. You're like, shit, because you've got the little girl sat in front of the door, like pivotal characters of this movie all come around this toilet door to see what's going on. So you're like, shit, it's a zombie. We know it's a zombie because we've just seen them wipe out a few of them on the station. These guys are all going to get it as soon as that door opens. And they open it, it's a homeless man. Breathe, relax, all calm and steady.
I didn't get any of the tension. I didn't feel it.
Right, we're going to fight on this episode. I know it because I love this movie unconditionally. And then when you've got this scene that you massively underplayed then with the girl who has a seizure, she collapses on the floor. She, in essence, dies. And she's radioing through to the conductor. It's like, look, we've got a problem. Somebody's having a fit. You need to get down here now. He comes running through all the train cars to get to her to try and help. And at this point, in between him getting there, reaching them, the zombie lady has died on the floor. The young Asian woman who is like an air hostess for this train car, she's like sat there in tears, completely in bits by what's happened, having witnessed what's just unfolded in front of her. But she turns her back to the body. And I tell you now, this is the greatest transformation of zombies I've ever seen. This woman bends in ways I've never seen any human bend in my life. The contortionist
You're not doing it right.
Is that a reference I should get?
Probably not.
This woman, she just folds in way, and that's one thing that I like about these zombies. It's not like they don't just like sleepwalk like, oh, Shaun of the Dead zombies, if you will. They like completely just, and you can hear the bones snapping and oh man, and one thing as well, like when they get bitten, they don't just you see like the veins on them spread, which is really cool. So like from the point of the bite all the way, you see the sort of infection spreading through the veins of the body, and it just looks so cool, man. And I only want to focus upon it now because I don't want to have to do it all the way through this review. But this immediate transformation scene, the first one we get, is just brilliant.
Yeah, it's fab. And then she rips half her face off.
She does.
Yeah. We meet our cast and crew effectively. So we meet a baseball team, which comprises of a young boy, a young girl, and a group of mates. And the girl gets on. She's like, I've just become your cheerleader. And she blatantly wants to be with the guy. The guy has no interest whatsoever. Like,
yeah, which is weird dynamic because that soon changes.
Yeah, he's like no interest whatsoever. And like she sat next to him and like everyone's chanting like, be together. And he's like, look, I'm fucking listening to my AirPods. The bit when she sits down, takes his headphone out and sticks it in her ear to listen to the same music. He's looking at her like, the fuck are you doing?
And the basic dialogue between them is like, it's going to happen, so don't fight it. Let's just do it now.
Yeah, basically.
Which is cool. I like that. It was sweet.
We meet the nasty asshole businessman who is just, you can just tell he's just a horrible guy. And he's very much like...
Yeah, he's the main antagonist of the entire movie.
Yeah, he's just turning his nose up at everything. He's generally not nice. We meet a couple with a baby on the way. The husband of this couple with a baby on the way is a fucking monster of a man. And like when they're filming these train car scenes, when he stood like, there's a bit where he's between the toilet and the wall, he can barely move. He's wedged into that gap because his shoulders I watched it back. Like I watched it and then watched it back later. When I watched it back, he was like, literally like he turns, he's like brushing his shoulders on both sides. He's massive.
Yeah, and he's the only recognizable face you will see in this movie. So
yeah,
he's Doctor Strange's.
Oh my god, he is, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. He's Doctor Strange's. Yeah, he takes over the temple. Yeah, he becomes Doctor Strange in essence in the newest movie.
He's the Sorcerer Supreme.
Sorcerer Supreme. That's it. There he is. That's him.
I didn't know it.
Did you not pick up on that?
No, he is actually a superhero. I knew it.
He is a superhero. Yes, he is. He is the Sorcerer Supreme.
That's blown my mind. He's amazing. And in this,
and there's and based on his performance in this alone, it's completely understandable why he was picked up by Hollywood and be like, "You are coming with us."
Yeah, he is the crown. For me, he's the crowning jewel of this movie. His character arc, his performance, everything from him is pitch perfect.
Everything, his banter, his heart, he's such a relatable character. You would like to, when you're watching this, you would like to feel that is your role.
Yeah.
You'd like to feel as a person you would be that guy, even though you probably never would be able to live up to that.
No, we all do that. We all look at movies and go, yeah, that's me. Or watch TV series and go, yeah, that's me. Me and Lisa will sit there. At the moment, we're rewatching Dexter. We're doing that at the moment. Like, who do you think I am? Who do you think? Well, we do that a lot with movies. Lisa thinks I'm most like Dexter, which worries me.
Yeah, that's a little bit concerning.
It concerns me a lot. All hell breaks loose on this train. And when I say all hell breaks loose, where this girl's been bitten, that train car becomes carnage in seconds.
Yeah.
One person bites one person, that's another person. And these zombies are not just like like going down the aisle in between the chairs. They're climbing over the chairs, and they're like moving with
like spiders, man. It's fucking crazy.
With such pace. They're almost spider walking up the walls to get to the next person. Yeah. It's amazing. They're bursting their way through the carriage, and people are running away.
Yeah,
and they close the doors on them, and they're holding the doors shut, and they're like, I can't remember who it is. So someone goes, "Look, don't let go of the handle."
Yeah. So for context in this situation, so the daughter is sat next to her dad. He's distracted on the phone. She needs to. Oh no, he falls asleep anyway. Yeah. He falls asleep. She needs to go for a wee, and that's when you get the scene where it's a homeless man in the train. But then she keeps going further and further down the carriages in order to find an available toilet. That's when she's introduced to the Sorcerer Supreme and his wife and her pregnant baby. So you can tell there are a few cats down at this point. He says she's going to be in there while she's pregnant. She just don't knock on the door, go to the next one down. And I think it's the cat after that where it all breaks out. The dad wakes up to the commotion. He starts running through the train to find them. The daughter's literally like inches away from being got, and he manages to grab her and run further back through the train. Everybody else is darting through, and this infection is spreading cart by cart by cart. And the Sorcerer Supreme comes out, and he's just fucking punching them left and right, knocking them back, trying to get his wife into the cart in front. And just as they're about to get through the door, the arsehole dad locks them out.
Yeah, and this is the guy who you said, he's a bad guy. He was going to lock a man and his pregnant wife out and let them die. And it's his daughter.
But he was protecting his daughter.
But it's his daughter who says, open the door and let them in.
He does, yeah. And there's a big scuffle. So eventually, bearing in mind, Sorcerer Supreme is just knocking them left, right, and center. He's holding them all back from his pregnant wife. He's beating the living shit out of these zombies. Just hand-to-hand combat. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Eventually, he opens the door and he gets through, and then this guy's nickname for the rest of this movie is Arsehole from this point on. He just refers to him as Hey Arsehole,
hey, Arsehole.
Which is brilliant.
But yeah, they're holding the doors, and it's actually the dad who goes, let go of the handle. And they let go of the handle. He's like, they don't know how to open it.
No.
And then in this sort of scene where they're staring at all these zombies are banging on the window, it's the pregnant woman who goes, I think it's because they can see us. And with that, she gets a newspaper and wets it and sticks it on the window.
Yeah.
And all the noise subsides.
Which is a cool element.
That's a really cool little twerk.
Unique element as well.
It's a cool little twerk to how zombies work. They're purely visual.
Yeah, so they can't see us, so they don't know. So it's like all of their senses are dulled as soon as they can't see them visually.
Yeah, they can't see what they need to eat, so they just go into, like, I don't know, dopey zombie mode.
Yeah, into a trance-like state until the next sort of burger comes walking past, in a sense.
Yeah, which is really, really, really cool. Don't get me wrong, I really enjoy this movie. I really enjoy it.
It doesn't kind of feel like you do.
No, I genuinely do. We now get the train conductor comes over the tannoy and says that we're aware there's some issues we're aware there are some issues on the train. We've been told we're stopping at the next station where the military are there who are going to come. You're all going to get off. They're going to come on and clear the train and everything will be fine. And this is where the dad then gets on the phone and he takes himself out of that car and he goes further down the train and he's talking to his mate saying, look, what's going on? Because at this time they've been seeing things on the news as well. So there's TVs in the train car where they've been getting news reports of this zombie outbreak. So they're kind of fully aware of what's going on.
They are and they're not, because they're referring to it as rioters.
Yeah, they're referring to it as rioters, and you see them all going on their phones and going on to like Reddit pages to get the real news. Because I love on the news that's on the TV, it's very much like it's very much real media. Do not panic. Everything is absolutely fine. We have this fully in control. And then like they're scrolling on their phones. It's like chaos in this town. 35 people massacred here. It's like, this is the real news. And that is what you want us to believe. And I really liked that. I thought that was really well done. Really well handled.
Relevant before it was relevant.
Well, I think it's always been relevant.
That's probably.
So the dad gets on the phone to his mate and he's like, look, what's going on? He's like, look, it's bad. It's bad everywhere, but the town you're going to is okay. He's on, but you're going to get quarantined. He's like, I can't be fucking quarantined. Give me a way out. I need a way out. He's on, when you get there, don't go to the central station. Go to the East Court. And Dad's like, right, okay, that's fine. They pull up at the station, and when they get to the station, it is a ghost town. There's no one on the platform. It's empty. And
eerie as fuck, isn't it?
It's really creepy. Seeing anything empty like that. I remember when COVID first hit and I was still working and still going out to sites and things like that. Driving around in an empty world is scary.
Yeah. See,
Really
one of the
creepy.
things that I really like about zombie movies is the element of escapism from real life. Like, I feel like I would do quite well. I feel like I would be a Rick Grimes in a zombie apocalypse.
Really?
I would thrive. I think so, yeah. No, I press too many red buttons.
Yeah, you would not last 5 minutes. There's a noise coming from behind that door. I have to know what it is. You're dead.
No, I genuinely think I would do all right in a zombie apocalypse. And I think that's one thing that intrigues me when I watch these movies. It's like, yeah, survival tips.
Yeah.
Let's figure out the best way to get through this.
I genuinely, I think most people our age have some kind of zombie survival plan in their head of what their initial reaction would be. Like, I know what I would do within the first 12 hours. I know what I would do and where I would be.
Where would you go?
So we live right by the forest, which is a very unpopulated area. There's an area in the forest that I know that's quite deep in that has fresh running water. It's in the arse end of nowhere. It's like a 2.5 hour hike from everything in every direction. I'd go there.
Is it high up?
Yeah.
Are you off the ground?
Yeah.
Like, are you like treehouse sort of level or?
It's on a hill where I can see for, I don't know, 5 miles in every direction. And it has running water, fresh running water. I think it's a fairly stable place to start.
Yeah, I watched the original. As I said, you had a bit of disdain towards the zombie subgenre before we started this episode. I remember we spoke about it a few times. So I did a bit of backing research onto where I would be with zombie movies so I could attack you with this. And I watched the original Dawn of the Dead, which I haven't seen probably since I was about 13. And even then, it was just sort of my dad was watching it and I kind of had it on. And I remember vague bits of it. But I watched the entire thing, and I watched the Cannes Festival cut, which is like 2 hours and 40 minutes, I think, of not additional footage, but the entire thing itself is like 2 hours and 40 minutes long. That film is amazing. And they go to, obviously, as you've seen in the remake, but the original, they go to like a shopping center.
Yeah.
Perfect. That is the place to hold down if you were going to do it. But you are a target.
Yeah. Whereas I'm sat on a hill, hunting deer, drinking water from my fresh running stream. I'm fine.
When have you ever hunted to attack deer?
I have been hunting in the past.
No, you haven't. You don't strike me as a hunting type. Maybe on your PlayStation, but you've never been real life hunting.
I have been real life hunting. I used to go hunt rabbits with my granddad.
Oh, dude, I remember I went like shooting before, and I just couldn't do it. No,
I could shoot a rabbit. I think I'd struggle with a deer, especially as I only own a BB gun. It might take a fucking while.
I'm one of those people who's like driving down the road and I'll hit like a pheasant or something, and that'll just stay with me all day. My heart will just be broken. I'm like, you had a family.
all those baby pheasants.
Yeah, man, I'm not a hunter at all. I haven't got the heart for it.
They wander off into this station and they come up into like this main lobby area, and it's all barriered off, so they're all being funneled to the central station. And the dad grabs his daughter and goes off to the right through the barriers. And the daughter's like, what are you doing? He's like, look, we're going this way. I know this way's safe. She's like, I'll go and tell everyone. And he's like, no, fucking no. In this
the
situation,
sweet innocence of his daughter.
Yeah, he's like, in this situation, look after just you. Fuck everyone else. And
she has a meltdown as well. She's like, all you care about is yourself.
Yeah, and I think at this point, if I was the dad, I'd be like, well, yeah, if that's what makes you happy, but either way, you're not telling anyone. Come with me.
No.
And the homeless...
This is where you have to step up and be like, I appreciate what you're saying, but I'm making sure you stay alive. Now shut up and do as you're told.
Yeah. The homeless man follows them. And this is fucking fabulous, because the dad turns around to the homeless man and goes, what are you doing? Go with everyone else. The homeless man's like, no, I was in the carriage when you made your call with your mate, and I know that this way's safe, so I'm going to come this way with you.
Yeah, and at this point, this guy's just muttered stuff. He's not really vocal. He's just said, everyone is dead 1 million times.
Yeah.
But he goes with him. He lets him come, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Oh no, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. He doesn't actually commit to anything. He doesn't commit to letting him come with him or not. The homeless man sees an army guy come around the corner, doesn't he?
Yeah,
and he just charges down the tunnel as if to say, "Save me, take me out of here."
Yeah, and that army guy is a zombie army guy, and the way that those that as soon as he realizes when the horde of zombies come round that corner, that's a real oh fuck moment. And it's such
this scene as well. It's because the homeless guy he's not a zombie at first, it's a normal guy, but he's just sort of like shell shocked.
Yeah.
So the homeless guy's running to him, but then just as he's about to reach him, maybe like a few meters away, a zombie just charges around the corner and just rips his neck to shreds. And then that's it. They all just start piling around the corner, at which point they have to run back. And then it cuts as well. You don't focus entirely too much on that scene. And it cuts to everybody on the stairway going back down to the track on the other side of the bridge.
This is fab. They're going down an escalator. And as they're going down the escalator, at the bottom of the escalator, there's like 50 zombies. Just like it's like a conveyor belt of dinner for them.
Yeah, and they're all comatose at the bottom, just sort of milling about, no food around, so they're just in that comatose state. And then all of a sudden, they just see them coming down the escalator, and one of them turns and catches a glimpse, and they all just shoot, running up this. And they're fast zombies as well. These are like sort of 28 days later zombies. They just charge.
Sorcerer Supreme, again, hero, picks his wife up, lifts her over the escalator onto the stairs, jumps up, and then helps her up the stairs, and they run up the stairs and go back into the main lobby. But both of these scenes are shot really well. That one down the tunnel, it really gives you that tunnel vision of, oh, fuck, because they fill the screen with zombies. Yeah. And they do like a pan back to the dad holding the hand of his little girl. And the look on the dad's face is, oh, shit. And it's perfect. And then you get almost a mirror scene on the escalator with Sorcerer Supreme and his wife, where he sees the zombies and he goes, oh, fuck. But their reactions are very different. So the dad's reaction is he turns to run and kind of drags the daughter with him.
Well, no, he doesn't. He doesn't, does he? Because the daughter's at the end of the corridor. He's like, you wait here, I'm going to go check it out. He walks halfway down the corridor and the homeless man runs off in front. So as he turns around, as all this unfolds and everything goes to chaos, the pregnant man and his wife run up the stairs. The daughter's at the end of the corridor and they just grab her and run.
Yeah.
Like, you're coming with us. They take her away from the dad. And as the dad runs back into sort of like the waiting area of the train station, shit has just gone to fucking hell. Everyone's getting attacked left, right, and centre.
The dad's
and he gets attacked himself. Yeah, he's pinned down. And they're in a situation where you've got like all the baseball furies, which is what I'm going to call them. Warriors reference, just in case you missed it. The baseball furies and the Sorcerer Supreme are holding the door closed, and they're about to lock the dad out. They've got his daughter and stuff, and they're about to leave him. And then he looks and sees that he's still alive, and he's like, "No, fuck you, I'm the better man."
Yeah,
he's like, "Hey, asshole, get up, asshole!" And they hold the door for him. I'm like, "That's cool."
Yeah,
that's just more a point of him being the better person and wanting to prove to the asshole that he's a better person than him actually caring.
Yeah, it's such a nice little callback as well. It's like almost instant payoff callback. He locked him out, and then like when he gets the chance to do the 100%, I'd have left the fucker there to die.
I would have done.
Yeah,
I would have done as well. I like him. Don't get me wrong. I like his character, and I think he has a good arc throughout this film. But yeah, in that instance, if he'd have done that to me and my pregnant wife, fuck that dude. Let's barricade this down and get back on the train.
Yeah, exactly that. We get back to the train, and we've got the arsehole businessman is one of the first people back to the train, and he's throwing a fucking wobbler at the train conductor to shut the doors and fucking go. And I really like the train conductor because he's like, no, there are still people coming, and this businessman is having the world's biggest tantrum. And the conductor's like, I don't care. There are more people coming. You can wait. He's like, you're going to kill us all. And the conductor's so like, that may be the case. However, more people are getting on this train.
Yeah.
And it's kind of, the conductor caves as the rest of them get there. So they come through in stages. So you've got the baseball guy and his lady friend. You've got
a few of the others, don't you?
Yeah, you've got.
No, most of them get wiped out.
But most they're in the train car still.
Yeah, this is one thing that I really love about this movie is like we're introduced to each individual set of characters. You've got the pregnant wife and husband, then you've got the two elderly sisters, which we haven't mentioned at this point, but they play a pivotal role to this film.
They're awesome.
You've got their story arc together, then you've got the baseball kids, and you've got the businessman. When they all enter the train station, individually, they all sort of start getting intermingled.
Yeah.
Which is really cool, which serves purpose to the story as why they'd all want to get to the same destination. They're not just huddled within their individual set pieces that they started in. At this point, they all get broken up. They start running for the train, and it's like the main baseball guy, Sorcerer Supreme, and the dad are trying to hold the door together.
Yeah.
And then the old ladies and the kid and the pregnant woman, they're already trying to get on the train. But then one of the older ladies falls, so she gets separated from her sister. And then she gets picked up by the baseball guys. And then eventually, like, Sorcerer Supreme comes through and he's with a collective group of people. And everyone just all, like, mixes it up. It's like a big shuffle up and they're all together.
And it's really clever how they shuffle it. So you end up with the arsehole businessman and a group of non-relevant characters. And the sister, the older sister, the older lady sister, and
who clearly is about 21 and wearing a wig.
She's hot as fuck and done up like she's 90. And the girl from the baseball group, they're in one carriage. Then you've got the dad and the Sorcerer Supreme and the baseball guy. They're in
the homeless man.
And the homeless man.
No, the homeless man's with. Sorry, apologies.
They're in another carriage, and then further down the train, you've got the other sister, you've got the pregnant woman, and the homeless man, and the kid.
Yeah.
So you've got these three separate groups, and this leads to arguably one of the greatest scenes on a train ever.
Amazing.
It's like the train pulls out of the station. They've closed all the doors, and you've got these three groups of people separated by carriages full of ravenous zombies, and it sets everything up so beautifully. So you've got our trio of heroes at this point, which is the dad, who's a bit of an arsehole, but I'm going to give him a pass for these next few scenes. You've got baseball kid, and you've got Sorcerer Supreme. Yeah. And they're sat there and they're having this discussion of like, we know they're further down the train, and it's Sorcerer Supreme is like, well, let's go fucking get them then.
Yeah. So if you imagine the train's leaving the station, like the arsehole guys jump on first, so they're at the front of the train. Then you've got the pregnant wife and them, they jump on next, and they're in the middle of the train because the train's moving as they're all jumping on at the same point. Yeah. And then by the train's just about to leave, the badass group is at the back of the train. The pregnant woman and the baby, the pregnant woman and the kid and the elderly woman and the homeless man all find themselves bundled in the toilets because they jump on a carriage which is infected and has zombies in it. So the first thing they do is just lock themselves in the toilet and stay there. But this film is not one to shy away from using technology, so it shows the fact that they have phones. So the dad rings his daughter. He's like, "Where are you? What's going on?" He's like, I'm in carriage 7.
I'm in carriage 7. Crowded by zombies. Can you help me, please?
And at which point they realize that they're in carriage 13 and they're like, right, they're 5 or 8 cars away from where we are. We need to get to them. They're in peril. How are we going to do this?
Yeah. And Sorcerer Supreme was like, well, we're going to go through them. And then Baseball Boy's like, well, I've got my backpack, which has got like all the tape and shit that we use for baseball and the pads and stuff. And they like bandage their wrists and put pads on their arms. One's got a baseball bat. What's the dad got as a weapon? I can't remember what he's got.
He has a shield which he took.
Yeah, a riot shield and a baton that he picks up from one of the security
army bloods.
Now the way this works, if it was me, you'd send the guy with the riot shield and the baton in first, but no. Sorcerer Supreme, who has no weapon, I'll go first. Dad, you're going in the middle. Baseball Boy, you're at the back and just take out anyone with a bat that I've not already killed. When they go through this train car, he becomes a full-on superhero. There's a point where he grabs a zombie by the belt, lifts it off the floor, and slams it into the roof of the train before throwing it on the floor.
So cool.
It's so cool. Fucking incredible. And
but these zombies are relentless, though, man.
Yeah, this is what I was saying earlier. Like the amount of damage that there's one of them that he hits about 12 times, then goes through to the dad who hits it about 50 times with the baton and the shield. Then Baseball Boy takes a swing at his head, and it's still chomping at his ankles afterwards.
Yeah.
This whole scene where they go through the first carriage and they take it, they literally just force their way through is amazing. The next carriage is better.
Is this the one with his friends?
No.
That's my favourite one when they get to that one.
Yeah, so the carriages get it better, each one. The next carriage is the one with the phone.
Oh, yes. Okay, yeah. Cool.
So when they get through the first carriage, they close the doors. They're done. They're safe. They're in this, like, the middle bit. But they're going to get into the next carriage, and all the zombies are down the far end at the other door trying to get through. And they sort of stand there for a bit, and he's like, the dad goes, "Can I have your phone?" The arsehole bloke's like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Just give me your phone." And he sits there and he's tapping away, and then he slides to Sorcerer Supreme's phone down the carriage.
Yeah, to the end of the carriage, and then they hide in the chairs sort of midway up the carriage.
And he calls the phone, and it's got the most god-awful, like, K-pop ringtone.
Yeah. And it's not even this bit that makes me laugh. It's just I know what's coming after it.
What's he turned around and said? Could you not get a different ringtone?
Yeah, so the road rings, and we don't have any sort of context of it at this point, but the zombies all charge to the back and obviously freeze the path for them to get through.
Yeah.
So they then move up to the next carriage, but it's sort of a bit crowded, so they get in the toilets, all three of them together. And they're in the toilets, and they have this fantastic sort of back and forth between all three of them within the space of, I don't know, maybe about 2 or 3 minutes this goes on for. And then they're like basically just taking the piss out of each other as if nothing's going on. And he's ragging him for his phone ringtone, and he's like, "Oh, what's wrong with it? What's wrong with it?" And it's just like the driest thing ever, but it just makes me laugh my head off every time I see it. And he just looks at the young kid, he's like, "How do I change that?"
That's the best bit, is when he goes, "How do I change it?" Fully aware that it's shit. How do I?
Yeah, man. And it's like, oh God, old people and technology. It's just, it's one of those things where it's just like, I don't know whether it was written to be intentionally as good as it was. Like the iconic "I'll be back" line from Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
I don't know whether that was intended to be as great as it became.
No.
This back and forth in this car is one of those scenes, and it's like, did you know this was going to be as good as it was when you wrote it?
Yeah, and it really is just beautiful and so funny and so good. And there's not many moments of humor in this movie, and this is one of them, and it breaks it up. It breaks it up just right, because what comes next is heartbreaking. So the next carriage they go into, they walk into, and it's all of the baseball team.
Yeah.
And they're all fully zombied up. And they walk in there, and you see the kid instantly goes, "Oh no." And the dad and Sorcerer Supreme being overwhelmed by these zombies. And I was waiting for the kid to have his redeeming arc where he's like, "No, I'm going to be brave." But he doesn't. No. He just stays frozen. It's actually Sorcerer Supreme who sort of looks at him and goes, "He's not getting us out of this," and then goes full Hulk mode again.
Well, it's not even that, though, is it? It's a tunnel that saves him.
Yeah. Well, he goes full Hulk mode first.
Oh, he does, yeah.
Before the tunnel.
Bravery. But I really like this scene in particular as well, because it has so many layers to it. It's like when they first walk in, between them, they're all just like, these are just kids.
Yeah.
And they completely underestimate the fact that these are just power-hungry zombies, regardless of whether they're 30, 40 or not. They're just like, "Oh, these are just kids. This is a piss-easy cart to get through. Let's just do it."
Yeah.
The kid's at the back. He sees all his mates in peril and just completely ripped to shreds and fully zombified. So he's in a state of shock. He doesn't move. He doesn't do anything. And they're getting taken down, man. They've got like 4 on them each, and he's doing nothing but just watching. And you think at this moment, especially with the dad, I thought he was done for here, because he has his shield, but you can see he's just about to almost get bit on his arm as he's sort of like leaning around the back of it. And then they go through a tunnel, pitch black, the cat goes dark, and the zombies freeze.
Yeah, just stop.
Amazing.
Yeah, they can't see. They
can't see. And they don't react to this at all. They're all just sort of like, "What the fuck's going on? What's happening here?"
Yeah.
None of them put it together immediately. And does it pick back up again? Do they then have to fight again through this?
Yeah, so they kind of fight again. They get sort of a little bit of distance, and then they all attack again, and then there's another tunnel, and they're like, oh shit. And that's when they use it to get out into the little middle bit. And it's the next train car that is absolutely ram-packed full of zombies. And the dad then, again, great use of technology, goes on his phone to see where the train is on the tracker app. So he can see
find out where the tunnels
where the next tunnels are. It's like, we've got a tunnel in about a mile, so we can make a move for it then. And they use the tunnels to navigate through the last carriage of the zombies.
Yeah, because they also state that, right, the next one is coming up in 3 minutes' time, and it's going to be a 6-minute long tunnel.
Yeah.
So they obviously know the app is telling them the distance between tunnels and then the length of the tunnel.
It's really clever, and it's such a clever way. So in this section of carriages, we've had full-on carnage. We've had really clever use of technology twice. We've had a really emotional scene. It's just such a well-constructed series of scenes dealing with zombies, and every single one has been dealt with differently, and that is unique to this movie. That purely is unique to this. I've never seen another zombie movie where every time they encounter a zombie, they deal with it in a different way. And
it's so easy to gloss over this as just being a generic zombie movie and just think, it's more of the same, which is something I'm sure you're, although you haven't said it about this one in particular, but you do feel that way about this subgenre in general. But I can understand how you would just watch this and not dive too deeply into it. But there's a lot of layers and elements to this movie that if you pay attention to it, it's really thought out and really clever.
What makes this brilliant is when they get to, so at this point, the young boy's rung his girlfriend, who's meant to be his girlfriend in the other carriage. The girlfriend's like, they're on their way. They're going to be here in a minute. And the businessman is like, well, we don't fucking want them here. They could be infected. Are you fucking insane? And they get there and they like try to keep them out, and all the zombies are coming to try and attack them. And they kind of eventually force their way in. And this is, again, another dynamic that I really like, is the businessman's like, we don't know if you're infected. You, all of you, can get the fuck in that little sidecar over there, because you are not welcome here.
Yeah. I mean, sorry not to pull you back on it again, but you have jumped a bit too far. But we have a couple of cool scenes with the tunnel system, which we sort of glazed over, where they walk across the top things where the carriages, bags are held. So they go through the tunnel and they creep across that. They pick up the daughter, the pregnant mum, and all the rest of it. And they make the way to the segment which you're talking about. But this is where we get the demise of the Sorcerer Supreme. He sort of...
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, I don't feel like he needed to die in this moment.
No, he didn't. They could have quite easily carried him right the way through to the end. They could have killed the dad.
I don't even feel like anybody needed to die in this instance. It was just one of those things where, like, they were all banded together strong enough to withhold them enough.
Yeah.
It just happened sort of so randomly that everybody just backed away from the door.
Yeah,
and
so
it was like, everybody go. And it's like, hold on a minute, man. Like, you a bit more pushing and you can close this and secure more.
So they collected everyone. And it was the dad and him were left holding the door to try and stop the zombies, while everyone else was trying to get in the door for
the business area,
where the businessman was. And it was basically Sorcerer Supreme went, look, you go, help them get in that door. I can hold this for a while. And like, as they get in, like they turn the camera back round and you see Sorcerer Supreme has his final fight. And my God, did he go down swinging.
Amazing. And you can see his inner, not just his strength holding these zombies back and fighting them off one by one, just knocking them left, right, center. You can see his inner battle with his turning as well. Yeah. Like, everybody who gets bitten is turned within sort of seconds. This guy gets bitten and it's a couple of minutes, which isn't a great difference to everybody else, but you can see his eyes glazing over and him becoming a zombie, but him still sort of like fighting to hold them back. And I was like, that's so fucking cool.
I love the fact that he's holding them back and you could just see as he turns, his arms just lower down by his side, and then he turns around with them and it's like, that's pretty. It's really well shot, and it's, to be fair, it's the most heroic death anyone gets in this movie. He got a decent death.
Yeah, and we should also state at this point that the older lady's sister has also been bitten.
Yes,
she freezes. So as the door opens into the business class area, we'll call it business class because that's where the businessman dickhead is.
Yeah.
For some reason, they all get through. The daughter, the dad, the homeless man, the pregnant woman, they all get through. But for some reason, she sort of freezes.
Yeah. And
as if she's had like an instant look at what's happening, and it's like, this isn't worth fighting for because nobody's letting us in and humanity's dead.
Yeah.
So she just freezes and basically gives herself up to the zombies. And just before she's about to get bit, she looks through the door and sees her sister.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck. And then we have this big altercation in the car, in the business car. The doors are closed, everybody's sealed in. And then the businessman is like, they're infected, because the dad just completely whacks the businessman. He's like, you fucking cost him his life. Like, that's your fault. That's on you.
That was his only redeeming moment in this movie, where he punches the fuck out of the businessman for a good 2 minutes. And the thing is, though, the businessman takes that as proof that look how angry he is. See, he's infected. It's like, no, I'm angry because you're an asshole.
Because you just fucking cost us a life of one of our friends. Like, you deserve to be beaten. So with that reaction, the businessman's like, right, everybody, let's get him out. Let's get him out. We need to get him out of here.
And they
banish them to the front of the train. And say, get out of here, we don't want you with us, you're all ditch. And then eventually, one by one, they all start chanting "Evil dies tonight."
Yeah, they do.
As they move them through to the front of the train. And then they lock them in the front of the train, and this is where we get one of the best scenes in the movie, where the old woman sees her zombie sister. And she's like, Does she say, like, I think she basically reiterates what I just said about her sister's realization. She's like, you guys are fucking shameless and you deserve, and she just opens the door.
Yeah, and this is fab as well, because at the time that she gets up and she kind of puts her hand on the glass, and her sister's like banging her zombie hand the other side, and as she's opening it, they're all the other end of the train trying to make sure that the people they've just let in are locked in the other carriage, and it's the rich businessman turns and sort of goes, no, as this zombie horde just invade the carriage.
I thought he was done, man. I'll be honest with you.
I wish he was done.
Yeah, he should have been done.
He should have been done. They dock in Busan. Well, they don't dock in Busan.
It's not Busan, is it?
They dock because they have to stop because a train has crashed in front of them and their track is blocked. And the conductor comes over and goes, we're all getting off. I'm going to go and find another train, and I'll be on the track on the far left. You all need to get off and come find me. The conductor in this is genuinely a hero. He wouldn't let the train leave when it was stuck at the station and they're still waiting for people. When it stopped on the track, he could have quite easily just got off, fucked off, and got another train and gone.
Yeah.
But he was like, no, look, I'm going to go get another train.
His own heroism is his undoing as well, unfortunately.
It really is. So he goes off to find another train and they all get off. This sequence from here to where they kind of meet up again is bordering on World War Z, and I really don't like it.
No, there's one particular instance where that is, but that's more towards the end of the segment you're talking about.
This whole segment where they get out and you've got fucking zombies everywhere, and the bit where they break in through the tipped over train car and the homeless man's holding them, literally all of this they could have cut and I'd have been quite happy.
That's like a good 20 minutes of the movie. That doesn't happen like that. Like they get out and they get and they're jumping from like track to track to try and find a train, and then the businessman escapes from his car because he survived. He hid in the toilet, and he has a fucking absolute dickhead move where he's in the toilet with this other gentleman, and he's like, "Oh yeah, don't worry, it's clear. You go first." And he basically just throws him out as bait, even though because he opens the door to check to see if it's safe. He knows it's not.
Yeah, and he throws out the other guy.
Throws the other dude out to distract the zombie so he can make his escape. I'm like, you really are a proper arsehole.
Yeah, he really
so
is.
Goes away. And then they get from train to train, and then I think I can't remember how they all get separated, but it's just a baseball guy and his girlfriend, and they bust onto a train, and the businessman basically costs her a life. He opens it. They try to save him. They try to save the businessman. They hold the door and open it for him. And as he gets through, a zombie also bursts through, and he throws a girl at the zombie to distract it again. I'm like, you dick.
Yeah.
And then falls from that train to the next train.
Baseball guy gets it as well.
Yeah, this was really sad because, again, he doesn't do anything. He just freezes. waits for her to turn, holding her and cradling her. She dies in his arms, and instead of getting up and moving on, she just turns and bites his neck out, and he just dies with her. I'm like, oh, that's sad.
Yeah, and this is like where you get like this carnage bit that's about to happen, where like they're crawling under the train and they're bursting through, and they burst through the windows, and the zombie is held back by fucking Hodor the hobo.
Great, loved it.
Yeah, see, this is when I switch off in zombie movies, where it's just become a generic fucking zombie movie.
Yeah, but I know what you're referring to, and I get where you're going with that, but I don't feel like this ever reaches that level. See, I feel like it's balanced enough for it to be.
See, everything they've done up until this point is fabulous. 90% of it's unique. It's got different takes on things. It's really clever. It's shot really well. When we get to this train yard, it just turns into a different movie. And it started to lose me a bit here. And it loses me more the more it goes on in these closing scenes. So sort of from here, when you get like, there's this big carnage scene where there's lots of zombies running, and you end up with the dad and the girl running away from this massive horde of zombies. It's on the cover of the poster, and it's probably the most used shot from this movie. And they're running to the other train that is now being started up by the conductor. And they jump on the train, and it's the pregnant girl, the dad, and the daughter.
Yep.
They get on the train, the train's pulling away. You've got zombies jumping and grabbing on, and they drag along the back like a carpet of zombies.
Cool. Dude, it's cool as fuck, man. It's cool.
This is the bit of zombie movies I'm really not in for. That I don't buy it. I don't like it. But like what happens on the train is fat. Get rid of the zombies hanging off the back. We don't need that. The bit that happens when the conductor comes out and his eyes are starting to glaze over, and he's like, I just want to go home. My home's in Busan. Can you take me home?
Well, it's not the conductor, is it? It's the evil businessman. We skipped over the guy. So the conductor earlier on was driving the new train out of the station.
Yeah.
And then the businessman sort of running to jump on the back, and the conductor's like, come on, quick, you can make it, hurry up. And then he cockles on his ankle. And the conductor, is being the hero that he is, jumps off to save him and help him back to the train, because the train's moving very slowly at this point. So he's got the time to get off, go save him, and get back on the train. Zombies start running towards him, and the businessman just throws the conductor at him.
Yeah.
Literally just throws the conductor at him. And he was trying to save his ass, man. I was like, dick.
So when the evil businessman is doing the turn, he's like, oh, I just want to go to Busan. And his eyes start to glaze over. This is a big plot issue I have with this movie.
Yeah.
I
know what you're going to say.
Every single other person in the world in this situation would have kicked that fucker in the face straight off the train. That's it, done.
Yeah.
Instead, the dad tries to give him a hug. What are you doing,
I wouldn't
you
go as
fucking
far as to
loser?
say he gives him a hug.
Near as damn it does. But what the fuck are you doing? And he gets bitten in this process, and then he chains himself to the train. He kind of jumps off and throws the conductor off, and then he pulls himself back on. And then we have this moment where he goes into the driver's compartment, and he shows the pregnant lady how to operate the train.
Yeah.
This is go, this is stop. You just need to do that. And then he has what should have been a really heartfelt moment with his daughter, but I didn't find it that heartfelt. It was still
no, and I don't think it was supposed to be though. I don't think in this moment, because the whole time I agree with you. I was like, just tell her you love her, tell her you're sorry, tell her she's going to be safe.
Yes,
but he can't do it because he doesn't have that level. No, he just struggles emotionally to be able to connect.
It's a fucking zombie apocalypse. He's about to die. If there's any time to find it, now is the time.
I know. And me and you being somewhat emotionally stable people, I get it. But at the same time, there is a side of me that is emotionally unbalanced. And I understand his conflict in this moment, and he just can't do it. And it's harrowing, man. And it's supposed to be in that instance, because of the build up to his character throughout. He just can't do it. He can't commit to that level of redemption and acceptance for the kind of person he is.
Yeah,
it's important, man. And if they had have done it, it would have cheapened it for me. I think it would have cheapened it if he'd have just done this whole big Disney "I love you" and you'll go on to be the best thing in the world. Like it worked with his character that he didn't do that. I think it's great. I think it works and comes full circle at the moment. So fuck you, you're wrong.
It didn't work for me. Closing shot of the movie is the pregnant lady and the daughter walking down a tunnel towards Busan, where they've docked. The end.
I hate how much you've glazed over on this film, honestly.
I'm going to save what I have to say about this movie.
Well, I think
people who love this film.
Review. Yeehaw!
Sorry, you were interrupting, Dave. What were you saying?
I was just saying, people who love this film as much as I do, just know that Scott directs the episode. So the amount of stuff that he's glossed over and just shit on throughout this film has no bearing on my opinion.
It's not a bad movie.
Mate, you have made it sound really bad. It's like you've come out to attack this today.
I really haven't. Over on Slasher, author Cat MCC, it is epic, and they're an author of the Long Fall series, which is available on Amazon. On Threads, they had nothing to say this week. They feel the same about Train to Busan as I do. On X, Voices from the Mausoleum, my co-host on Voices with the You Run podcast, Angel. Flawless fucking film.
Amen to that.
On TikTok, we've got an account, which is a private account, and their account handle is A, just the letter A. Sad but spectacular. Whimsy Skull Horror, who's a horror review account, really, really good. Discats Beads, best zombie film, and they're an Etsy creator. Instagram ruled the roost this week, by far.
Back in force.
Knocked it out of the park. Aiden CV Cash, Biggest Train Delay, and they're a horror account. Horror Movie Weekly, Not That Special, and they're a horror movie account. Cecil Candybottom, who I've said many times is a puppet of a candy corn. It's the best account in the world to follow. Pure fucking brilliance. Music and Movie Man, emotional, powerful, awesome. And they're a musician. Pretty Killer Podcast, who's Jordana, got a fabulous podcast. Best Foreign Film. And Bucket of Chum podcast, who's a shark movie pod. Amazing, my dudes. So
amazing indeed.
All solid things to say, apart from Horror Movie Weekly, who kind of sits where I do. Before we roll you up anymore, what's your recommended account? I'll dig you out some music.
Yeah, please do.
Recommended account of the week.
So this week's recommended account of the week is Official Flashback 90s. There is a lot of this kind of stuff out on Instagram, basically just showcasing past nostalgia and things that you see as you're scrolling endlessly, as we all do, like zombies through our feeds. Showcasing
nice.
things.
I like that.
Yeah. Yeah, you see, I put a bit of effort in this week.
Yeah.
Showcasing stuff that'll just kind of make you think, oh, I used to have one of those. Or, oh, I remember that when I was a kid. Or this is that kind of account. And there isn't really much to say about it because there is a lot of them out there, but I feel like this is the one that does it the best. They have so many stuff that I can relate to when they put their posts up. And a lot of the stuff as well, it's not just like memes and things where you think, oh, I've seen that. Like they have engaging posts as well, where they'll put like an NES against a PlayStation 1 and you have to comment and stuff that you actually interact with and have to make vital decisions on which one you prefer from your childhood.
Out of curiosity, which one? NES or PlayStation 1?
NES and PlayStation 1 or any SNES and PlayStation 1?
Well, let's go Super Nintendo versus PlayStation 1.
Ooh. I want to say PlayStation 1, but I don't think I could live without Donkey Kong Country and Mario 3.
Yeah, see, I'm PlayStation 1 purely for the fact that Metal Gear Solid was a huge part of my life for a long time. The first two-disc game.
I'm a PlayStation 1. Yeah, I'm a PlayStation 1 guy. That's got my Resident Evil games on it. And fucking Spyro the Dragon and Crash Bandicoot. I'm all over PlayStation. But if you put me in a position where I had to sacrifice Donkey Kong Country and Super Mario 3, Jesus, that's a hard call. But yeah, in all essence, this is just one of those accounts which will engage in conversations like me and Scott just showcase to you there and then. So go and find them. They are Official Flashback 90s on Instagram. As always, comment, post, like, let them know that the You Run podcast sent you.
Yeah. Let's do some facts. Again, no soundbite. I will be in touch with Dave. By the time we start 2024, we'll have lots of new soundbites from Dave. I'm going to bribe him with some beers.
Nice.
Filmmaker Edgar Wright. We all know who he is, the man who made Shaun of the Dead.
Legend.
Yeah. BAFTA nominee, winner. Great creator. He hailed this in a tweet as the best zombie movie he'd seen in forever, which is about the highest praise.
And if that comes from him,
yeah, it's high praise.
I think that's more worthy to somebody who made this movie than an Oscar.
100%. Train to Busan was the highest grossing Korean film in Malaysia, Hong Kong, and Singapore ever. In August of 2016, it set a record for the most ever attendances of a Korean film at the theatre, with over 10 million moviegoers.
When was this?
2016.
When did Parasite come out?
2021.
Has that overtaken it?
I don't know. Didn't think to check that. Probably.
Parasite was a big hit.
It was. In 2020, they released an extended version of this, which I have seen, which is 15 minutes longer. It has extended scenes in the carriage. It has an extended fight scene, and it has a slightly extended ending.
I've seen it too. Great.
We're getting a remake of this next year.
We are.
Last Train to New York.
Last Train to New York. Yeah. Right. Where are you on this?
It's going to be another zombie movie, this time on a train, this time in the United States. That's where I am with it.
Right. So
it needs to be beautifully cast, and to outdo this, it really needs to step up. I don't want a beat for beat remake of this. If they do, what's the point?
Well, this is it. What is the point? And they don't have an amazing track record with this when they bring it to American and white people audiences, shall we say. So like you've got stuff like Wreck, which is fucking phenomenal, one of my all-time favorite found footage and sort of zombie hybrid movies. I love Wreck. It's amazing. They did the remake to that, which was Contagion. No,
Quarantine, which again is solid movie, but it's a big.
It's not. It's dreadful. It's dreadful. In comparison to Wreck, it's dreadful.
It's the same movie. It's beat for beat, like shot for shot, exactly the same.
But Hollywood eyes, it's fucking
honestly
Wreck with the OC cast. It's
honestly,
shit.
I reckon I could put Wreck and Quarantine. I could play them side by side. They are that beat for beat close.
They are. But why would you do it when you've got Wreck? There's no need. Do you know what I mean? And then they do it with other movies. You've done that throughout Ringu. Ringu is a better movie than Ring.
Yeah.
So why do it? Let the right one in, or let me in, or whichever the American remake decided to go with.
I like
the original is better.
It's better. I did like the remake though.
I like the remake as well. I think that was a very solid one, and that was probably a poor direction to go with.
That was a bad choice.
That one was a bad choice. But my point still stands. Is like, why?
I'm a big advocate for remakes and bringing movies to a bigger audience, and there are lots of people who won't watch a foreign film purely for the fact they don't want to read it or they don't like foreign films. There are a big contingent of people who are like that. If Train to New York, Last Train to New York, can be done to a standard of Train to Busan, and it brings a bigger audience to horror and to a zombie genre, I'm kind of all for it. Will I rush out to see it? No interest.
I will, because just out of curiosity. But the thing is as well, all of that takes place in the subway. It's all underground. You've lost that element of fucking light and dark immediately, which is a pivotal point in the story.
Which then, do they bring something else in to replace that? This is
art.
Well, it depends. If they put thought into it and they make it different, it could work. But yeah, I'm kind of with you. There's an animated prequel for this, which is absolutely fabulous, and it follows up until the point they get on the train. It's really, really good. If you can go and watch it, go and watch it. There's also a sequel to this, which no one talks about, Train to Busan Peninsula.
Yes.
I've watched this. You've watched this?
I've watched this. I haven't seen the animated prequel. I'm not a big anime fan, but I am going to get around to it eventually. And I've only just watched Peninsula this week after doing the prep for the show.
Do you want to tell everyone why people don't talk about it?
Because it's not very good.
It's not. It's really not.
It's the same director, it's the same involvement of the studio and everything. It's everybody comes together to make the sequel. One thing that's amazing about Train to Busan is the confinement and the fact that he is restricted with his creativity, as a lot of people are. Like you'll find with most fantastic horror movies, John Carpenter, very constricted, had little resources, had to make do with what he did. Halloween's amazing. Train to Busan, very constricted. Stuck in a train. How do you work that? How do you work your angles and your shots with your cinematography and your camera work when you're stuck to the confines of the shell of a train? You throw that into a big world and this guy just loses himself. There is glimmering moments of his cinematography and direction which do shine through, and there's a few shots where you're like, oh yeah, that is the same guy who did Train to Busan. But the overall story of it's just fucking lost in translation, man. And it's silly, and it just takes that whole step too far, really. And that's one of my biggest gripes with zombie movies in general. And I feel like I'm encroaching in my roundup here. But like Night of the Living Dead, Confined, Cabin, amazing, fucking secure. Dawn of the Dead, I love Dawn of the Dead, but the scope of it just takes away that sort of helpless, secluded element that you get from zombie movies that works so well. Which Shaun of the Dead, we've spoke about Shaun of the Dead so much throughout this episode. The confinement of it. They get to the Winchester. They're stuck in a singular location. The Ash Evil Dead cabin in the woods kind of element comes through and comes forth, and that's your focus because you're restricted. But when you throw that into a wider world, I just don't think this zombie subgenre works too much for me.
No, it doesn't for me either. How much do you reckon this cost them to make?
17 million.
10. They made this for 10 million, which I think is an absolute feat, because this is, for $10 million, this is up there with every single Hollywood blockbuster zombie movie and surpasses most of them.
What's the box office return for this? Do you know?
Yeah, I know. What do you think? Worldwide, what do you reckon this took?
Do I say above 100 million? I feel like it should have earned that. What can you define box office? Is that like just what it's taken at a theatre?
Yeah, what it's taken at theatres worldwide, and it's
not like streaming. And
no. Literally
DVD
just
sales
no. This is
like
literally just cinema box office worldwide.
I'm going to say 86 million.
I've done better than that. 92.
Oh, so I'm far off.
So it's an absolute solid movie.
Let's play a little game. Answer right, you live. Answer wrong, you die.
Thanks, Dave. So you've heard Mark say numerous times throughout this episode that he is the zombie guy. Zombies are his thing. And also that he's done lots of research this week into zombie movies. He may live to chew on those words very, very shortly. I love the fact that we don't share what we're doing. And this was kind of a pre-given setup because I knew where you were going to be in your headspace this week.
I hate the fact that you know me so well that you only have to drop the nugget to me like, yeah, all zombie movies are generic. Then you would know that I would go out there and like, I'm watching every zombie movie this week just to piss him off.
Yeah, I kind of know where your dark mind lives, and I kind of dwell in that space quite well. We're going to play a game, which is I'm going to give Mark the name of a zombie movie, and all you need to do is tell me if this is a real zombie movie or if I made this up. So it's really,
I think I can do quite well at this.
Yeah. We're going to start off nice and easy, and it's going to get harder. So first one, Wreck.
That is a zombie movie. Oh, I thought that was a trick question.
No, Wreck is a zombie movie. I don't care how.
Okay.
You can cut it.
It turns into not being a zombie movie in the second one, but the initial is a zombie movie.
Yeah, it is. Zom Me Up.
Zom Me Up?
Yeah.
As in like beam me up.
Like Sum Me Up, but Zom Me Up.
No, I don't think that one's real.
No, that one's not real. I made that up. Warm Bodies.
That is real.
That is real.
Nicholas Hoult.
It is. Great movie.
I've not seen it, but I know it's real.
It's really... The amount of horror... That gets such a bad rep. The amount of horror references in that movie is just untold. It's so cool. Zombie Fight Club.
The problem with the zombie subgenre is there is so fucking many of them.
There is.
And most of them play on stupid stuff like this. Zombie Fight Club. Like, I can see it now. Like, basically, the script of Peninsula, where they put them all in a cage and unleash zombies and they've got to survive, innit? There's a script there.
You've just written the movie. Does it actually exist, mate?
I'm going to say yes. I feel like it's an easy one.
It does. It does exist.
Yes.
The Quick and the Undead.
No, that's not real.
That is real. It's a Western zombie movie.
Fuck off.
Lesbian vampire zombies.
I know there's Lesbian Vampire Killers, which has got James Corden and Matthew Horn in it. I'm going to say that one's not real.
That one's not real. I made that up. Some zombies like it hot.
Some zombies like it hot. Why does that feel like it rings a bell to me?
Because there's a movie called Some People Like It Hot, or Someone Likes It Hot, I think.
Or have you just given away the fact that this isn't a real zombie movie?
I haven't given anything away.
In that case, I'm going to say no, it's not real.
It's not real. The incredibly strange creatures who stop living and become mixed up zombies.
Nah, fuck off. That's not real.
That is real.
No, it's not.
It really is. Zombies. It's like zoo and then zombies. Zombies.
Yeah, that's real. I've seen that somewhere on fucking like Amazon Prime or some dog shit like that. That's one of those ones that pops up.
Believe it or not, that's a trilogy. There's 3 of those movies.
No. Who finances these?
I don't know. And how did they finance 3? The first one must be half decent to get a sequel. How does that get a sequel? Dark Harvest probably won't.
That's what I mean. Like, I don't get it.
Last one. Nazis at the center of the earth.
Nazis. And I say zombie subgenre. There is a lot of Nazi zombies. It is insane. The level of zombie Nazis is.
Yeah, Dead Snow is a prime example of that.
I'm going to say that one's real.
That one is real. And that's Nazi zombies at the center of the earth that escaped the center of the earth because they were banished to hell after World War II.
We need to do that on the show.
Would you like me to take roundup on this? Because I think you feel that mine might be more negative than yours.
I would this week. I'd like you to go first, just in case I need to fucking end it on a highlight, because I know a lot of people love this movie, and we don't need it soured by your negativity this evening.
This movie is fabulous. It is absolutely fantastic. Do not think in any way that I am criticising this movie, but
there's always a but.
At the beginning of this episode, I said once you've seen one zombie movie, you've seen all the zombie movies. And unfortunately, that is still the case here. Yes, it done a couple of unique elements, but they're still playing with the same tired, knackered old trope of person gets infected, they infect more people, and we follow a group of people who survive. The only real twist in this is it's on a train. The acting is fabulous. It's shot beautifully. The story is engaging. I care about and love 90% of the characters. It is genuinely scary in places. Some of these fast-moving zombies are terrifying. It's gory. It's a fabulous movie. But everything I've just said, I could quite easily port exactly word for word over to 28 days later or 28 weeks later, which are equally as good and equally as tired in the same ways. I don't really do zombie movies. I can appreciate them. This is a 9 out of 10, but it's a tired subgenre that just doesn't do it for me. It just doesn't. They're all the same movie, just repackaged slightly different. And as much as I enjoyed this, I won't revisit it.
Says the man who primes himself on possession movies. Have a day off, sir. Let me take the mic.
You moved the mic in an aggressive manner and everything.
I moved it in an aggressive manner because you are an idiot. How can you possibly say they are all the same when you love possession movies? That is the most generic subgenre within horror.
No, you haven't.
I don't need you to say anything. That's enough from you. Thank you. I love Train to Busan. I love zombie movies. They're a sense of escapism for me because 9 times out of 10, they're just mindless. They're mindless. You don't need to pay much attention to them, and you still have a good time. You could watch 20 minutes, 30 minutes, have a 10-minute break in between, and 9 times out of 10, nothing's really happened in between. Train to Busan is a fresh of breath within that subgenre. It does things that no other zombie movie does, whether that be the slightest subtle change or not. This film focuses itself more on its characters than it does its zombies. The zombies, as fantastic as they are and as much of a focus of this movie as they are they're not the main plot of the film. The plot of the film is the character dynamics, the character growth throughout, and every cast we are introduced throughout this film. If we want to get down to the nitty gritty bare balls of it, it's cinematography, direction, perfect. No issue with that whatsoever. The zombies themselves, the way the makeup and costume design is for the zombies, perfect. No issue with that. There is some slight issues with CGI tidal wave zombies at the end. I'm not going to take that away from you, Scott. That is correct. Some of those scenes at the end do become a bit tiresome and feel slightly unnecessary in a sense. However, everything else that builds up to it to that point, that is the only generic zombie element of this movie, in my opinion. The casting is fabulous. I don't really have a lot to really be able to reference them again. It's really hard when you try to criticize casting on a foreign movie when you're reading their lines rather than listening to their lines. When you're listening to an English speaking actor, you can tell the emotion in their voice and you can tell a lot from what they're trying to say to another cast member. These could be the wonkiest deliveries of lines given to man, and I wouldn't be able to tell because I'm reading it rather than listening to it. And I think that is a big stumbling block for a lot of people when they come to watch a lot of foreign films. And it's one thing that I always say in my reviews. It's hard to really pull apart the performance when you don't get the full level of emotion that they're trying to deliver. But as somebody who doesn't speak South Korean and was watching this as subtitles, I thought everybody did a fantastic job, especially the young child actor throughout. She is amazing. That final scene as she walked through the tunnel and she's singing that song and she's upset and she's crying. It's just amazing. I hope she's now having one of the best careers she could ever have from her performance in this movie. I think this is one of the best zombie movies ever.
How would you compare this when you put it up against? How would you compare this against 28 Days Later? How would you compare this against 28 Weeks Later? How would you compare it against Shaun of the Dead? Is this up there on a par, or is this slightly behind those? Because for me, this sits somewhere below. So mine is Shaun of the Dead, 28 Weeks Later, 28 Days Later, Train to Busan, and then down from there, probably Wreck after that.
Right. That's an interesting statement to make because I would put this higher than 28 Days and 28 Weeks.
Really?
I would put it I would put it higher than Wreck, and I love Wreck unconditionally. That is one of my favorite found footage movies. I would put it higher than anything that Romero has churned out. But I have respect. I have respect for Romero. Don't get me wrong on this. I love the guy. I think what he's done for the zombie subgenre is unparalleled to anything. But I do think this is better. I don't think it's better than Shaun of the Dead, but that's only because of my unconditional love for that movie. That will never change. Nothing will be better than Shaun of the Dead, in my opinion, apart from John Carpenter's Halloween. It goes John Carpenter's Halloween and then it goes Shaun of the Dead. Always.
And just so you know, Soo-Am Kim, who's the actress who plays the young girl, while you were deciding where you were putting things, she has had a very fruitful career since this, a huge fruitful career. Believe it or not, she's only 17 now.
Oh, wow.
She's got 12 feature films under her belt.
Good for her. Good for her. Because a lot of times you find with kid actors, they do like this amazing thing when they're younger and then they lose it. I.e. John Connor from Terminator. I can't remember his real name. That guy just lost his mind. So that's good. Good. I'm glad she's doing well. But I mean, anyway, by the by, I love this movie. I don't want to dive too much into what it is and what it should be. It is a perfect zombie movie for me. It's not flawless. It has a few little things along the way, but in terms of getting from A to B, I think it's perfect. I really, really do. And I think it's top tier zombie movie, and it is a 5 out of 5 for me. Easy all day long.
Okay, well, that's good.
There isn't anything I would change. No, so if I base my scores, and if I know a lot of people are like, 5 out of 5. You're talking about The Shawshank Redemption, Silence of the Lambs, and Martin Scorsese movies. Yes, I am. They are amazing movies. And if you compare my reviews to what they are on Letterboxd, people will be like, you give Sharknado a 4 or 5 out of 5.
I scored Sharknado 3, a 10 out of 10. I stand by it to this day.
I base my reviews on enjoyment, not on critical analysis, because I'm not professional or competent enough to do that. And these are what I enjoy to watch. And I don't begrudge any time this movie is on my TV screen, and I will sit and watch it from start to finish, enjoy it. And more times than not, I could put it on again straight after it finishes and still enjoy it the second time round.
Yeah, and I'm not hating on this, but it's a fantastic movie. And if it was on, would I make an active effort to turn it off? No, I wouldn't. But zombie movies aren't my thing. If I had a choice of this or any other movie available, would I pick anything else? I probably would, because...
Would you, though?
It depends what the other options were.
I was going to say, come on, that was a bold statement.
Yeah, zombie movies just don't do it for me. And it's got to be something like exceptional. There's 2 zombie movies I will rewatch regularly. One's Shaun of the Dead. One's 28 Weeks Later. 28 Weeks Later, I watch that more for the performances than the actual movie. The movie still ticks all the same trope boxes of every zombie movie that I have issue with. My issue with this not getting a 10 out of 10 is not because it doesn't deserve it. It's, again, based on my enjoyment. There's a point that's knocked off because I don't enjoy it because it's just a zombie movie.
And again, though, that just proves it, doesn't it? If you're giving this, what did you say, 9.5?
It's a 9, yeah.
It's a 9 for somebody who doesn't like zombie movies. Just shows how great this movie is.
It's a fabulous movie. Speaking of fabulous movies, next week we're going to be reviewing Mithrigan or Megan.
Yeah. Still haven't seen it.
Next week is going to be an event like never before. I have strong views on Megan, strong views that for a Chucky fan may be hard to digest if you don't feel the same. I've refused
to see this film since it's come out, and if we weren't doing it next week, I probably still wouldn't watch it.
Make sure when you watch it, you watch the unrated cut.
Oh, I will be 100%. I am not watching a fucking Care Better version of this.
Do not watch the PG-13. But until then, thank you very much for listening. And I thought we were having a conversation. See you all next week.
I didn't get that reference. Cheers, guys. See you next week.
We will next week. Okay, bye.
And, before I forget.
I'll kill you if this is a joke.
You want to die tonight?
The You Run Podcast.
The You Run Podcast.
The You Run Podcast.
The You Run Podcast.
Why isn't it possible?
I can't say nothing. Or Candyman will get me.
You choose the movies.
I had a heart-on this morning when I woke up, Tina. Had your name written all over it.
You score them.
Nice fucking model!
You review them.
For that you get the head, the tail, the whole damn thing.
Why not, you stupid bastard?
My name is very fucking confused. What's your name?
Captain Howdy.
You don't want to go fooling around other folks' property.
In my goddamn soul. Just a glass of beer.
Because after all, this is not our show. This is your show.
Hello. Oh, I've got to whisper it. Okay. Hello.
I missed last week's. What happened a couple of weeks ago?
Yeah. Last week I just fully threw you under the bus for going for a piss. That was a couple of weeks ago.
I was going to say, do I need to listen back just to realise how much you assaulted me in my absence?
No, I literally just said you were going for a wee, so I'll take over.
That's okay.
This is the secret part of our episode, and if you're a virgin to this part of the episode, we're about to break you in gently. There's a guest spot on our show open for 2024, and we're going to give it to one of you. And all you need to do to earn a chance to earn that spot is to play a little game. And this week, the game is you need to find one of our Train to Busan posts on any social media anywhere and comment "Choo Choo Thomas." And remember, there's rules to this. If someone asks you why you've commented "Choo Choo Thomas," you cannot respond to them. If you do, you're disqualified, not just from that week, but from the game forever.
How is this doing? Is this a thing? Are people actually even listening at this point?
It started off, we had 2 on the first week. then it was 3, then it was 5, and it's kind of picking up some momentum. I think by the time we get to like Christmas, and you and me will talk over the Christmas break of like how many people have played, and we'll work out how many people we're going to do, and we'll put in a way to pick a winner. But I think we're going to have a reasonable amount, and we've got some people in there that if they win a guest spot will be wild as fuck episodes.
Oh, wild. Man, that's hard. How do we pick that? How do we pick that? Do we pick that based on who we want, or do we just do a random draw?
I think there's got to be a random...
that could be
carnage. I think there's got to be a random draw of some description. I just haven't decided how we'll do it yet, but we will.
Okay, I'm kind of more inclined to do the random draw just for the wildness of it, just to see what it throws at us.
I think what's really funny is we've got some former guests who have also joined in the game. So there's people who've been on the show as guests before who've listened to the end and gone, "Oh, I'd like to come on again," and they're kind of playing where. In reality, if they just sent me a message, go, "Have you got a guest spot next year?" I'd probably go, "Yeah, no worries."
Let them sweat it out, man.
Yeah. So yeah, go and comment Choo Thomas on our Train to Busan posts, and we'll catch you all next week. See you later.
Cheers, guys. See you next week.